a slow, gentle breath. Let your shoulders soften. Feel the quiet of evening begin to settle all around you. The day is behind you now, and there is nothing more to do. Only listen and drift. Tonight, we journey to a place woven with moonlight and memory, a chamber tucked deep within the quiet halls of Rivendell, where the walls are smooth with age and every stone remembers. The air is still and cool, touched by the scent of old parchment, hearth smoke, and jasmine from the twilight gardens. Here, the elven loom of Starlace rests in its alcove, a tall, delicate frame of silver wood that seems to hum softly even when untouched. Its threads glisten pale and ghost-like, stretching from spindle to spindle like the faint trails left by shooting stars. And seated before it is Elven, the elder weaver of Rivendell, her silver hair falling like silk over her shoulders, her eyes calm as deep water. She weaves not cloth for cloaks or robes, but something rarer, a fabric known only to the elves as Starlace. It is said to be made of moonlight, caught in silver thread, woven only during a lunar eclipse. Its purpose is not for protection or beauty, but for the dreamwalkers, those who guide minds safely through sleep. Outside, the eclipse begins. The moon, once bright and full, dims slowly under the shadow of the world. In the chamber, the light changes, softens, casting long shadows and a glow that breathes like candlelight. Elven begins her work, and the room grows quieter still. Elven's hands move with ancient grace. Each thread pulled carries with it the hush of forgotten dreams, the warmth of distant starlight, and the soft weight of memories held gently in the heart. She works in stillness, but her silence is not empty. It is full of meaning, full of patience, full of time. The starlace grows row by row, a tapestry not of color, but of glow, a soft shimmer that flows like silver breath across the frame. Its texture seems not quite real, as if woven of something finer than matter, suspended in the very air. You may imagine the sound of it, not clinks or snaps, but a hush, a low vibration, as if the loom were whispering to itself with every pass. This is no ordinary fabric. This is cloth shaped by night, touched by light that has traveled ages to reach this place. There is a bowl beside Elven, shallow and smooth, filled not with water, but with memory. Thin silver tendrils drift in its center, wisps of dreams gently captured from elven sleep. She dips her fingers in, not to stir, but to remember. Each thread that touches the loom must be chosen, for Starlace does not bind to careless thought. It binds only to quiet minds, to those whose hearts move slowly, like moonlight across still water. Elven does not look up as the thread tightens. She feels it through her fingers, It is something quieter, deeper, the sound of a memory just before it fades. The fabric now glows faintly blue, a hue seen only in moon shadow or the shimmer left behind a falling star. Tiny constellations form in its weave, not stitched by hand, but by thought. Each line, each glimmering loop, tells a story that cannot be spoken, only felt in the quiet between dreams. Outside, the ivy rustles softly. You can almost hear it, can't you? The gentle hush of leaf against leaf, like a lullaby sung by the night itself. The wind has slowed, but the scent of earth and rain still lingers, faint and grounding, like a warm cup held between your palms. Elenuriel moves with reverence. She lifts the cloth slightly, and the light within it shifts as if a tiny breeze passed through. She does not blink. She listens, not with ears, but with something older than hearing, a sense that only elves, or those who've loved deeply and waited long, can understand. From a carved stone bowl beside her loom, she lifts the final strand. It is finer than spider silk, yet stronger than steel. They call it moon thread, a filament drawn not from any creature, but from moonlight reflected in a sacred pool on the first night of spring. It can only be gathered once every 100 years, and only in silence. She threads it through the final loops, completing the border, a soft frame around the dream. The starlace shimmers, then stills. It is finished, yet it is not ended. It never truly ends. She lowers her hands, places her palms gently on her lap, and breathes. The chamber holds its breath with her. No sound, no movement, only stillness, deep and whole. You may feel it too, settling into your bones, slowing the rhythm of your thoughts, softening the space between each breath. There are no words in this moment, only quiet, and the comfort of being held by story, by memory, by light that knows your name. She reaches for the first thread. It glows faintly, as though it remembers the moon. The strand slips between her fingers like cool mist, nearly weightless, but alive with quiet energy. With each motion of her hand, it passes through the loom's silver arms, tightening with a tone that is more felt than heard. The loom does not creak or groan. It hums softly, like the air just before dawn. Elenuriel breathes in slowly. Her hands follow a rhythm older than memory, a pattern taught not in words, but in silence and stillness. The elves say Starlace must be woven with the heart, not the mind. If the weaver's thoughts are heavy or hurried, the threads will knot or vanish. So she sits, calm as a lake under stars, and lets her spirit lead. The chamber is lit only by the eclipse, and a single lantern set on a low stone shelf. Its flame does not flicker. It burns with the steady light of Rivendell's deep magic, casting long golden reflections across the loom's silver frame. Shadows sway gently along the carved walls, tracing runes that whisper the names of those who came before. Outside, The breeze moves through tall birch trees, carrying the scent of moss and old rain. If you listen, you may hear it too. That soft breath through the leaves, the kind of sound that makes your eyelids grow heavy, the kind that tells your body it is safe, that you are home, even in a story. Inside, Elenuriel adds a second thread, then a third. Each one joins the others like the joining of thoughts in sleep. No two threads are the same. One holds a dream of starlight on still water. Another, a memory of laughter shared on a moonlit balcony. Together, they begin to form the first delicate row of the Starlace. The rhythm of the weaving is steady now. Elenuriel's hands move like drifting leaves, one guiding, one shaping. The threads pass through her fingers with quiet precision, forming a delicate web that pulses with soft light. Each movement feels sacred, as if she is not merely crafting cloth, but listening to something deeper, something beneath the surface of the world. The fabric begins to grow, shimmering faintly in the low light of the lantern. She closes her eyes for a moment, feeling the pull of the eclipse above. The moon is nearly veiled now, casting the world in a soft silver twilight. In this rare moment, when night deepens and time seems to hold its breath, the Starlace becomes receptive. It is only during these eclipses that the threads truly take shape, bonding not just with one another, but with memory, with dreams, with silence itself. Behind her, the stone walls hold the hush of centuries. They have watched this ritual unfold countless times, and their stillness is filled with quiet reverence. Faint carvings glint in the lantern light, leaf patterns, constellations, ancient elvish words worn smooth by time. The room feels alive, not in the way a forest lives, but in the way a lullaby lives after it is sung, gentle, lingering, eternal. A quiet breeze moves through the archway, stirring the hem of Elenuriel's robe. It brings with it the cool breath of the valley beyond, green hills under starlight, a river murmuring over stone, and somewhere the faint hoot of an owl. The breeze brushes against the loom, and the threads shift ever so slightly, making a faint sound, like a sigh between two notes of a song. Elenuriel does not speak. She rarely does during a weaving. Her thoughts are part of the loom now, interwoven with every strand. She is remembering old stories, forgotten faces, the first time she sat before this loom as a young weaver centuries ago. With each breath, she offers a quiet blessing into the thread, anchoring the cloth to peace, to clarity, to the gentle rhythm of dreams. The threads begin to align into patterns only visible from certain angles, not stitched images or runes, but impressions, like the echo of starlight reflected in calm water, shapes that drift and fade, then return again, just slightly altered. The loom is no It responds to emotion, to stillness, to the exact cadence of Elenoriel's breath. Each strand tightens with purpose, never rushed, never forced. Outside, the sky deepens. The eclipse now blankets the moon in full. Darkness settles over Rivendell like a velvet shawl, soft and cool against the skin. Lanterns along the bridges and walkways glow faintly, their reflections caught in the slow-moving waters of the river below. Inside the chamber, the loom shines brighter, as if the dimming of the world outside allows its own quiet light to bloom. Elenoriel reaches for a spool resting in a hollow of stone. It holds the finest of threads, known to the elves as dusk thread, gathered only from the light at twilight when the sun kisses the horizon with a final golden hush. It is nearly invisible except under starlight. As she begins weaving it into the border of the Starlace, a faint warm hue enters the fabric, softening the silver into something gentler, like the glow of memory. The air grows still, not heavy, but deeply calm, like the moment between two falling leaves. You may begin to feel it too, that slowing within your chest, that ease behind your eyes, as if your own thoughts are aligning with the threads, settling into a pattern you've always known but had forgotten until now. Elenoriel hums, not loudly, not even musically, but in the way a mother might hum while holding a sleeping child. A vibration more than a sound, low and steady, in harmony with the loom. The chamber welcomes the tone, carries it gently across its curved walls, and offers it back. The Starlace responds with a shimmer so soft it could almost be mist. But it is there, and it means the cloth has begun to remember. In the depth of night, as the eclipse holds the valley in its silver shadow, the fabric begins to hum softly, not a sound of thread or loom, but a resonance within the room itself, as if the stone walls are listening and the threads are speaking back. Elenoriel's fingers never falter. Each pass of the weft through the warp is deliberate, graceful, and full of quiet knowing. The pattern she follows is not written. It is felt, inherited through centuries of weavers who shaped dreams into form. Her movements slow, not from weariness, but from reverence. The central threads of Starlace are always the most delicate. They do not carry weight, but intention. She pauses before touching them, closing her eyes once more. Around her, the silence deepens, a living stillness that feels like a breath held in trust. She places her fingertips on the thread and begins to weave the heart of the cloth. This part of the Starlace is reserved for one purpose only. It is where the dream paths are anchored. Elves who wear the hoods lined with this cloth do not sleep as mortals do. They walk through memory, through shared visions, and through safe return. Beyond the chamber, the eclipse reaches its peak. The stars gleam more brightly now, no longer dimmed by the moon's light. Their presence is sharper, more immediate, like guardians watching over the valley. A soft breeze carries their chill through the open arch, brushing across Elenuriel's skin. She does not flinch. She welcomes the coolness, letting it drift through her thoughts like water smoothing stone. The loom accepts the last strand of the central weave. The hum within the room softens to a gentle echo. The starlace now glows, not with brilliance, but with depth, like a memory you can almost touch. It ripples faintly, as if sighing. Elenuriel lays her hands across the finished rows. Her palms rest lightly, letting the cloth recognize her presence. It is a quiet moment, without end or urgency, where time folds in on itself and becomes still. Elenuriel lifts the cloth gently from the loom. The threads, though soft as breath, hold their form with grace. The starlace folds into her hands like water captured in silk, and as she turns it toward the lantern light, the patterns within begin to shift ever so slightly, not as a trick of light, but as if the fabric itself is remembering its purpose. The delicate border of dusk thread shimmers with warmth, and in the center, the moonlit weft glows with a soft pulse, like the rhythm of a resting heartbeat. She moves toward a long stone bench near the window. The window is framed in ivy, and through it, the eclipsed moon hangs above the valley, still cloaked in its shadow. She lays the starlace across the bench with reverence. Tonight's weaving is complete, and its purpose has already begun. Though it has not yet lined a hood or touched the brow of a dreamwalker, it is already offering calm to the space around it. The air feels lighter, the shadows softer, the breeze more still. This is the secret of the starlace. It is not only a tool for guiding dreams, but a vessel for peace itself. The elves say the starlace listens long after it is woven, that even folded in a drawer, it remembers every calm breath taken near it, that it keeps the echo of the weaver's presence within its fibers. Elenuriel smiles faintly as she sits beside the cloth, resting her hands in her lap. Her thoughts are still. She does not need to speak to feel the work is done. The eclipse begins to lift. Slowly, gently, the moon emerges from shadow, revealing its full face once more. Its light is softer than before, as though it too has passed through a dream. The stars remain clear, but the sharpness fades, and the valley begins to glow with the first hint of return. In the chamber, the silver of the loom quiets. The magic lingers, but the hush deepens into a kind of after-song, like the calm that follows a lullaby. You may feel it now, that calm reaching toward you, as if the threads themselves are wrapping around your thoughts. Let your breath move as slowly as the loom. Let your mind rest like starlace resting in Elenuriel's hands. You are held gently and completely by stillness, by silence, by the kind of peace that does not ask for anything but your presence. And now you may let go. As Elanuriel rises, the Starlace remains where it lies, still warm from her touch. She walks slowly through the chamber, passing the quiet loom, her fingers brushing the carved wood in a final gesture of thanks. The pattern she wove tonight will be remembered not just by the fabric, but by the air, the stone, and the silence that held her. Outside, the light returns in soft waves. Lanterns flicker lower, birds begin to stir in the distance, and the wind carries with it the scent of damp earth and blooming night flowers. She pauses at the archway, looking out across the valley. The silver ribbon of the river glows in the growing light. Far below, the first morning mist begins to rise between the trees, curling and lifting like the last breath of a dream. There is no urgency in her step, no task left undone. The Starlace has been woven, and with it, a thread of peace has entered the world again. Its influence will be quiet, unseen, but it will travel further than the cloth ever could. And so, in the hush that follows, you may let yourself drift. You have walked through Rivendell by lantern light. You have listened to the sound of a loom that sings only when the world is still. You have seen the cloth of starlight take shape, and you have rested in its presence. The night holds no fear, only softness, and the gentle wisdom of time. There is nothing more you need to do. Let yourself become light as a thread. Let the cool breeze pass over you, carrying the hum of elvish songs too soft to hear, but still known by the heart. Let the patterns of the Starlace guide your breath, long and slow, in and out. If you dream, let the dreams be gentle. If you sleep, let it be deep and easy, wrapped in the quiet magic of moonlight and memory. And now, as Rivendell rests beneath the stars, so too